You heard. The election of officers and.
Okay. Welcome to the first budget meeting of the Budget Committee for fiscal year 2025. Welcome, everyone, and special acknowledgement that we have Bruce here. Yay. I call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock, 6:02. And the committee will need to elect a chair and vice chair who also serves as secretary. That's in your bylaws. So we'll.
Do you want those on?
Yeah, I thought I turned one. I apologize.
Like the video, it's not on.
So I'll take nominations for chair.
I know,
Anybody?
Sarah.
I would love to take on to that, but I really can't.
Oh, beg your pardon.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it's an honor that you are nominating me, but I am, I have the, and had the reins of in the planning board and
Yeah,
I'm very busy with the school board. This school board is gonna be very busy coming up.
yeah.
I nominate Bruce.
Thank you. I'll second that.
I'll second.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Any other nominations? Take a vote. Yep, everybody can raise your hand. We don't have to do a roll call. Well, that
I'm
was,
sure you could have
oh, okay, yeah. All right, Sarah,
yes.
Bruce,
Yes,
Scott,
sure.
Gary,
Yeah,
Yes,
Penny. All right, so Bruce, there you are. And if you'd like to take over the meeting now, Bruce, and call for nominations for vice chair.
Nominations for a vice chair?
nominate Sarah.
You willing?
That makes me a secretary too. I'll take it, I guess.
oh,
I'll
good.
I will, Scott, will you do it?
No.
Gary, will you do it?
I won't do it.
Penny?
No, I'd love to see Sarah do it.
Well, if that's the case, I'll second it. Okay, all in favor, Penny,
Yes,
Gary,
Yes,
Scott? Me is yes, and Sarah?
Yes,
So,
Yeah. All right.
Yes, 5-4, 1 absent.
yeah,
So Lana, you wanna go over the town manager part of it?
Sure, so tonight you're reviewing the general government budget and the public safety budget. The general government budget includes a 3% wage increase. We budgeted a 10% increase for health insurance, although we do not know what that true number will be. We won't have that figure until late this month or early October, so it may go down. I
November.
expect, I'm sorry, November. I expect it will go down some. We also factored in the new paid family leave law, which we pay in for 2025. And then the benefit becomes available to employees in 2026. It's a new benefit that will be run or administered by the state, not the town,
What
What is-
percentage?
1%.
So you're paying for the employees?
But you can pay 1%, or the town can do 0.5% and make employees do 0.5%.
So what's the town doing?
We factored in at 1%, the full amount.
yeah, but you're saying that the town raises the money for that, not the state, even though the state administers.
Correct, you are correct. Yes, yeah, all municipalities.
Unfunded mandate. The employees they contribute to 0.5%.
Yes, they can. Yes, the town can do 0.5%, employees 0.5%, or the town can pick up the full amount, which is 1%.
Has that been discussed with the board at all, the
No.
1%?
No. I don't think so. I shouldn't say no.
I take it that will be on the ballot for a choice for the town to make, whether it's 0.5% or 1%.
That would be difficult because you're asking voters to vote on a budget for each department, and so it would be factored into that budget, so you would probably want to know before.
So is the town gonna just present this as 1%?
Well, it's up to the budget committee and the select board to determine which way you want to go with that. The budget as presented reflects a
1%.
1% paid by the town. Certainly that can change.
So this is 1% of their paid, or the pay, or the
1% of wages,
of wages.
yes,
Not benefits or anything
No,
else, just.
just wages.
Salary. Is that buried in benefits?
It is.
Yes,
Okay, and I presume healthcare is in there as well?
yes.
So we don't really get a breakout of all these different components of the benefits?
We can, if you like. We didn't do it that way. I don't think we have. Previously, the benefits line just contains all of that. In there. We did break out pension or retirement for every department, which wasn't done previously. And we also added the overtime line, which wasn't done previously for
Right.
each department.
Well, I'm looking at benefits overall across the town. It just seems odd that it's decreasing by 3.5%.
Yeah, cause in 2024, the benefits on the general administration was budgeted 92,000, we're only budgeted 76,000 this year.
But the pension is added that was.
They
Oh, they
took it
moved
there.
the
Yeah,
pension out,
the
yeah.
pension is.
So the
Okay.
two items
moved
that
out.
were taken out of that.
Yeah, pension.
So it's a bit more transparent, so you see
Yeah,
what the
I got that.
retirement is, what the
Yeah.
benefits are, what the wages are, what the overtime is.
The overtime wasn't even included in the budget before, was it?
I think that it was, the wages line was a little bit extra to cover for that, yeah.
Is there any way we can get year to date in each department on overtime? Because I know like my payroll program, I can pull up the overtime for the whole year.
Yes, we can run a report, the same one I sent over to you,
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah.
If you wanna make a note of that, Lisa.
just so we can make sure we're budgeting enough.
Okay, Lorna, I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask this, I should have asked this earlier to the meeting. So that 1% that we're talking about for the PFML thing,
Yes,
or PMFL,
paid family leave.
yeah, the total 1% that will sink all the departments in one bag. Do you know how much is, how much money?
I do not know that off the top of my head, but we can get that for you.
Mm. I'll be interested in that.
You want it per department?
No, I just want the whole amount.
The total amount is what, yes, yeah, that's what you want.
So the big changes probably are just the wage increase, the 10% we added for health insurance, which again, I don't believe it will be that high, but we did worst case scenario. We reflect the 1% paid family leave. We increased hours for code enforcement. His average so far is 34 hours a week. So we put him in at 36 hours a week.
Can we back up?
Yes.
From code enforcement officer, and town manager is above that. I'd like to put in 20,000 additional in your salaries so that. I don't know what town has other people making as much as or more than the town manager, and I'd like to see Belgrade correct that and have 20,000 available to add. So I'll make that a motion.
Can you tell me which page you're looking at, first page you're looking at, Penny?
Town manager, it's on page,
That is 10-11.
Yeah.
Town manager. Third page, I believe.
Thank you. So
Yeah, but-
the motion is to increase that by 20,000 for next year?
Motion on the floor, is anybody gonna, I said, there's a motion on the floor, is anybody gonna second it?
I wish I would have had, do you have like a download from salary.com or something like that?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any information you can share with the board?
Well, look
Yeah.
look at the code enforcement officer. Um. The salary. And then. The salary of, I don't have it broken down, but, the wages of some of the employees are right up there and above what the town manager makes. And when you add 3% to those high wages, it just escalates, and I just wanted to have that amount.
But the town manager got a 5% increase, where everybody else is only getting a 3%.
Are you saying that 20,000 would be a 5% increase?
No,
What did you say, Bruce?
So. Lorna can correct me on this if I'm wrong, when they did your evaluation, it's in your contract that you get up to a 5% increase every year, correct? Am I right with that?
Yes.
Okay,
And
So-
in fact, the select board will make a decision on this. We can recommend it.
That's right.
Right.
But that's not gonna be anything that we're gonna make a
Right.
decision.
no,
Exactly, but my point is, if we don't have it in the budget, they can't do it.
Well, I would bring it up when we meet with the select board.
right, and then do it. make
That's
your motion
exactly what I would do.
Yeah,
She has a 5% increase now.
correct,
And the rest.
That's a
three.
better increase than the rest of the
right.
employees.
And it really, you know, nothing against. And nothing against Lauren on this now, is if you're gonna do 5% for one employee in the town. It doesn't look very good to the other employees,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
only getting 3. So that's a recommendation I'm gonna make when we meet with the select board, that we do of course, it's a slide rule from 1 to 5. That every employee in the town has the same amount of a raise. It's not fair that only one person,
Yeah.
and Lauren, I'm not picking on you, it's just a fairness thing through the whole town. That, you know, it should be a 1 to 5. On a,
Bruce, may I speak to that?
yep,
As the leader of the town, in most organizations, they make more than the rest of the employees, and they have a better package than other employees, and I think,
most organizations of businesses, when they have a pay increase, or if they do a percentage, I mean, Scott may be able to answer this better than I can, because he's where he deals with accounting. Is usually it's across the line, if you're doing a slide percentage, it's usually across the line, because it's not everybody, everybody's not guaranteed a 5. You know, somebody may only get a 2% increase. It all depends on the supervisor and how that person performs. It's. Go ahead, Sarah.
I think Bruce, what, Penny, the argument that Penny's trying to come across is that the base salary for Lorna is of 80,000. And I think what she's trying to say that she doesn't seem that being in line with what other, towns managers are making. So,
Do we have a salary survey?
and that's what,
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I'm trying to get, a salary survey.
Is it,
So,
I not look at something like
is there any
that.
way we can get that, Lorna?
Yes, MMA has the 2024
Even the
salary.
town of Belgrade? Is that what
No,
everybody?
salary survey across some
Across
town
the-
managers.
Of the town manager, okay, yeah.
across the state.
if
Yeah.
you're gonna do that, though, I'd like to have it for other, like the CEO, the town clerk, anybody that isn't. Has a special designation, and you'll find that. Well, we discussed it last time, and we need to. Appreciate a town manager, I guess is what I'm saying. So we're gonna discuss that again.
with us, with the full select board, yeah.
And when will that be?
We haven't
No.
set that date yet, have we?
Right, we're setting meetings with the select board to go over the budget, in November. We haven't determined what those dates are yet.
So
I've given them a whole laundry list of possible.
maybe in your updates, could you, of course, I'm at the meetings. Is that something that you could bring up? That this is an upcoming thing, it's gonna be discussed with them when you think it's proper just before, so they're not blindsided with it?
Okay.
Is that, I don't know, where should we bring, you tell me. I'm looking for your recommendations on this, how to, cause you know how it is, we don't wanna, say something to them. Blindside this to them, so they don't have time to think about it, we want them to be able to digest it.
Yeah, I can send something out. to
And
them.
I'll be there to speak, so.
Okay.
I'll do my, I mean, if you want me to do it, but I don't know. If that would be a agenda item that we should do, it's kind of an update, just, hey, this is what's been brought up. I'll bounce this around and we'll be discussing it at, or you want me to send them an email as a chair doing that? You think that would be better?
Dilemma.
I know.
You want me to send that to them? It's just it almost, it's like a conflict of interest. 'Cause
Right.
You're,
That's,
yeah,
Right, I mean,
Yeah.
it is for me.
yeah, so.
I just wanna be able to
I
get it
just
out
need
to
to
them.
know, I just need to know where I can get the salary survey.
I have it, I'll send it to you.
Okay,
Yeah, we participated, this year.
And if there's anything that, I bring up that you think that we should be bringing to the board instead of you on it, just don't be afraid to tell us, okay?
Okay.
Go all the
Okay,
way.
thank you, Bruce.
so I will get that and I will make a, email statement. I'll
You have a
copy,
motion on the floor,
okay, so we doesn't have a second.
guys, for lack of seconds. I'm not running this thing, Bruce, go ahead.
Is anybody gonna make a second
No.
on the motion?
I will not do a second till I have information.
Yeah, same here.
It's a good argument,
Thank you.
but I would like to have, I mean, just saying a number without information.
Yeah,
I
we
don't
can
I
go
don't feel
higher.
comfortable with that,
You know,
sure.
whatever, but just to
But
bring it up.
but that will kick the need to get a survey somehow.
Yeah, good.
So I guess my next question is on code enforcement. So year to date, we're at 42,000. And that's averaging a 34-hour week. But if I'm correct on that.
Yes, he's going to go over on wages.
Okay, that was my next question.
Yes. He's definitely busy enough.
Scott's got a question.
Seems like I feel like we're hopping around here. And I've done enough budgets, when you hop around, you miss things. And it would be good to really just go through each of the departments in consecutive order. And address them. That way, we're not gonna miss anything. And if there are no significant increases in a particular department, then we could just skip over it.
Okay, so let's start right out at the beginning. We'll start out with on general government, the select board. Anybody see anything there that they want to discuss? If not, we'll go to general government, Board of Appeals. I don't see that one decrease. I don't see anything on that one myself.
Year to date, 0.
Yeah. And the next one is general government administration. Any discussions on any of this?
Your audit price went way up.
Yeah, that was another question I had.
Yes, that
Thanks,
was
Gary.
one of the things I flagged on your cover sheet is, we're contracted our audit for, this year will be increasing.
Wow, that's a huge increase.
It is.
Yeah.
Their reasoning was that they have been providing additional services. They've never, given us an increase in what they charge us, and so they needed to start doing that, so.
Bruce,
Yes.
Is that how you remember it, Mary?
Yeah.
Yes.
isn't it good public policy to, not have the same auditor every time?
It should go out to RFP every so
Right.
often.
Plus, if they're gonna be 16.5,
We just.
We just did.
We just put it out.
Yeah. Yeah,
And that was the lowest? This one?
yes, I think the other one was HR, we only had two.
And I
If I
think that
remember
the whole
correctly.
thing is that, it's difficult when you move with a new auditor, only because. They're not always familiar as this group was when they first came to us. We've developed a relationship over the past, 3 to 4 years. maybe.
This is the same one you've had for quite a while.
Well, 3 to 4 years. We've had them for a 3-year
And they
contract.
didn't, yeah,
So, one of the commissioners was insistent we go out to RFP. So on our auditor. So we did, we were paying maybe 12 to 15,000. They were the only one that submitted on the RFP. Now we're paying 30.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
So, you need to be careful of, everybody thinks the RFP process is so wonderful. It can also, cause you problems.
yep,
I have a question.
Yeah.
You're not gonna notice it if you're looking at paper, but when I went in to tie all the numbers back, I noticed that the wages line for the fiscal year or calendar year 24 budget changed. Now, I don't know if that's something that the select board did outside one of the meetings. I had 228,000 even as a budgetary number, and I noticed it's 226,500. So from last year to this year, and there aren't many, there are a few lines where that's happened. So, not that we need to discuss it tonight, but maybe you could research it and see if maybe that was something the select board changed that maybe I missed.
What was that again, Scott? That was
In the budget,
budget?
when I had it in my model, okay, for 24.
Yep.
It was 228,000.
Yep.
Now it's 226,500. So it could have been a change that I missed, I don't know, but there were a few lines I noticed that changed like that, the budget changed, which really, it shouldn't have. Unless I missed it,
So it actually went down by,
1,500.
And it would be hard to determine from the warrant article,
Mhm.
only because everything got grouped in
Some-
together with the
some-
benefits and everything.
Some of the reason why it went down was because we pulled out that overtime.
Yeah, but he's talking
I'm
about
talking
the
about
2024
24.
budget line,
Budget.
Yeah.
not 2025.
There was no overtime line in
2024.
24.
Nick included overtime in the overall wages because it wasn't overtime line.
yeah,
So
but,
he added overtime in there.
but what Scott's saying is when we was doing budgets last year at this time, it was 228,000. And now it's showing it, the budgeted was 226,500.
if it was that,
Right.
if it was that overtime, the overtime should have been transferred to the.
Right,
So the overtime line,
Yeah, that budget line changed
yes.
for 2024.
Maybe, I wonder if because it's pulling from the initial in trio and after
Yeah, it
it
shouldn't
got
change any.
changed.
No, it should be the same.
Shouldn't change.
No, because what I'm thinking is because right now we're pulling from the initial and not from.
The
Budget committee.
2024 budget shouldn't change.
There are 3 different places to put input information in the trio. There's the initial, there's the budget committee, and then there's the select board. So if I'm pulling from the initial part right now, I'm wondering if That was the initial,
And the select board would have been the final,
Right.
right?
that would have been the final that you should vote from. So maybe
I don't,
that's-
I just don't know if it will pull from that if we're at the.
Could be, I don't think
Well,
so.
find
but-
out.
Actually, I'll tell you what, why don't we do this? Because I can tell you. All the lines have changed.
Thing I made earlier.
So there were about, 6 of them, that one. Under the library, 2010 security systems. That was 1,000, now it's 0. Then the holiday stroll for the sheriff. Can't see the note. That changed.
Yeah, that one I do, that one I'm pretty sure that one, I'm pretty sure the holiday stroll one, 800.
Got scrapped,
I think, yeah, I think that was in a board meeting, yeah,
yeah. I
And
think it
then
got
4th of
scrapped.
July, same deal.
Yes,
yeah.
that got scrapped,
yeah.
yeah,
The rec programs, the wages line.
increased.
Okay,
Increased because we added the assistant as full-time
Mhm.
in 24. I don't remember if you all agreed to that or if it was just the select board.
I
I
think
think-
select board because it was
It's
after
only-
budget time.
That's right.
Okay, yeah.
and then the tan interest, changed.
That I don't know.
I think,
We haven't used the TAN.
right, I think that was,
I think Nick put the legal fees under the interest line, but it's not interest.
It was,
Because we have-
I had 10 originally, now it's
3
7,
something.
yeah, 7,000 is what's currently in the 24 budget. I mean, if you've got reasons for them and the select board voted that, that's fine.
Right,
Maybe, I don't know if this is the wrong version, but, just something to look into.
okay.
General wages.
so does anybody else have anything on the general government administration? Yeah, no, it's done, take your time.
Oh, food and water, I noticed there's been a lot of, is that something new?
We added in a water cooler, water, the big, I don't know what they are, 3, 4, 5 gallon instead of individual water plastic bottles.
Advertising went down $500,
Where are you looking, Penny?
20-03.
Under admin?
On the services.
And, the website went up about 36%.
It did.
Yeah, so website, we've been paying 2 something for, they're doing a. Not sure what you wanna call it. It's not a revamp, maybe it is, but they're adding a bunch of new. Stuff, we don't really have a choice on it.
Oh,
They're doing it, in fact, they wanted to charge us for the whole year, this year, but we haven't. But we haven't had that update, it's like an update on your phone, we haven't had the update yet, so we did. Negotiate with them to not charge us until we do get the update,
yeah,
so that 3,000 and something will be the new cost.
Are they contracted?
Yes, it's Civic
It's-
Plus,
these,
a lot of municipalities use it,
all these software vendors are holding everybody hostage.
Yeah, I've
Agree.
seen that.
absolutely
Yeah.
agree.
But the advertising went down 500.
Mary,
We haven't really used the advertising for very much, and anything for elections, I just take out of my elections line item, so.
advertising in the newspaper is,
Yeah, I put in a register
Crazy.
hours, it was small, 2x3 blockhouse for over $400, but I'm required by law to do that.
It's
by
ridiculous.
statute, so.
Who runs herd on your contractors for your website?
I'm sorry,
Who directs these contractors on your website? For your website?
in what way? I'm not
In other
following.
words, who gives them direction? It sounds like they're giving you direction.
Yeah.
Well, they have a canned product. I'm sure that when they were initially contacted, that they worked with the town to come up with the layout and all of that for the website, what to include, what not to include. So all of that got set up, and now we just have users, if you will. So Mary, Nick was, Lisa, I'm not sure if you
I
are.
don't have
No,
access to.
we got nickel, we
Ian.
got Ian on.
So you got, they built it, you guys update. the-
Yes, so it's up to us to add content at this point, and there have been no updates, but Civic.
So the
Plus
answer is
doing an
nobody's
update.
got this contract under their thumb.
Well.
No, because they're a large corporation, they're not even
Yeah, but it's
here,
contract.
they're not even here in Maine.
Yeah, I think I remember when they initially were contracted, they were pretty good. But I think they sold right after that and another company picked them up.
That I don't.
And Scott's right, they've got, I'm amazed that nobody is a contact person for this. And
Well,
is keeping an eye on that website. What do you need? What more do you need?
oh, no,
They're telling you they're gonna update it and they're gonna charge you for it.
yeah, they're so big that you don't,
When does the
you don't
contract
have
end?
that choice.
When does the contract end?
We just resigned.
Yeah, cause I know this was a big argument at 2 select board meetings, I know the,
Yeah,
I mean,
that's,
if that's the full cost for the year, it's peanuts. I mean, we got a quota
It could be a lot,
like 90,000.
yeah, it could be a lot more.
So, yeah, it's,
it could be more.
Oh, my goodness, yes,
oh, yeah.
Well,
like a lot
okay,
more.
but somebody has to have, you have to have a contract manager someplace.
There is a contact we've reached out to because we did get an explanation about the increase in charges and the update, if you will. So we do have someone that we can contact for that,
Wow.
but yeah, I don't feel like they know who we are. Do you know what I mean? We're a number. We're a little small town.
just a little bit of
Maybe-
profit for them.
Well,
Right.
I don't wanna, I'm just concerned that you have a contractor running this project and have no real particular input to it at all. And
You are
see,
correct.
that's not a good way to run a contract. Now, I suspect if you terminate that contract, the software goes back and they delete that website,
Yes.
Yeah.
so you'd have to start all over again.
And it would probably, I assume it would cost us something to cancel the contract as well.
Didn't you look into that, or,
I don't know
I can't
that,
remember or somebody on the, I can't
I
remember.
don't know that we checked to see if we were gonna cancel it, if there was a cost.
Like I said, I do remember board, this was a very long discussion on the board.
Yes, it was,
And then what their decision was to keep going?
yes.
One question I got is, and it's a quick one, Harris,
Yes.
Computer Systems, is that gonna be a yearly increase, or is this?
What number?
That is 46-02,
I think they always, yeah, that's Trio,
right,
Harris is Trio.
right, I mean,
So all of our different
we budgeted,
modules and all of that, all the different programs we use throughout the day, every day.
we budgeted 20,000 last year. And it's up to, and we overran and we're up to 22,000. There's 2 reasons I'm asking. Want to make sure we're budgeting it enough. Where we overran by $1,800 in 2024. So we're only giving ourselves a $200 buffer. So do we expect it going up another $1,800 or $2,000 in 2025 or?
Yeah, so you can call some of these folks and they'll tell you what they're gonna charge next year.
What line where are you at, Bruce?
I'm at
It's,
46.
4602
Yeah.
Harris.
What the
Harris.
increase was, was it
Second
the
page.
sketch? Was it the sketch?
Yeah, no, I mean, third page.
Oh, we added on,
Apparently, we had the parks package and had not been charged for the last.
Couple line,
10 years.
second line of top page.
And so when they took it away, we recognized it immediately because we use it daily to track different things. And we said, well, you haven't been paying for.
So-
Well, we've had it for 15+ years, so they charged us.
I'm looking back, in 21, we paid 19,000. 22, we paid 18, which is interesting. How often do they charge? Monthly?
annual,
It's an annual charge?
annual fee,
Okay, and then we're up to 22 and 23.
right. Mary just explained that there was a Clark's package that we've had for 15 years.
At least.
And they had just realized this year that we hadn't paid for it and it stopped, which we noticed just like that because there were many things we couldn't do, so got a hold of them. They said, oh, well, you haven't been paying for it, so it stopped. Well, we have to have it. So then they started charging us. So that's why you saw the increase this year for Harris.
Right, the 21 was 19, 22 was 18.
Yeah, I don't know what that was. That
And
was
what does Harris do for you?
Harris
That's
is
the whole
our
computer
trio.
system.
It's our whole
Yeah.
financial
Yeah.
software, all of that dogs, it's the clerk. We do all of our taxes, budgetary,
I
payroll.
got it.
Do they also do the license plates?
Yes, no, you don't do license plates in there. Some registrations.
We do our registrations through Trio. But the other thing, the reason of the increase through 22 to 23, when we look at it, is because we got Wind Sketch, which is part of
Assessing.
addition onto the
Assessing
assessing program,
package.
so that accounts for that increase in cost.
Okay.
Okay, so.
So there have been some things that we've added to reflect those increases.
Okay, so do you feel comfortable with 22?
22, I don't think we're adding anything next year. I
'Cause that's
don't
only-
see us adding anything.
That's under $200 increase.
We're not worried about you guys, we're worried about them.
Them, right. I-
Did you call? Did anybody call?
No, I haven't called them. I can email Allison.
Yeah, it would just be on the
Yeah,
safe side.
cause you only got like $184 or $83 buffer, so.
Well, and some of those raises, they're raising their employees' rate or their wages also.
Right.
Well, I
So you're
mean,
gonna have to see some
it's
increases in there.
right across the line. I mean, you just saw what the dock
Yeah, they'll
dock
see,
workers got.
Yeah.
Sappy right now is ready to strike if they don't get what they want, so.
Really?
Well, I guess we can be happy with our dock workers.
Yeah, or mill workers.
yeah.
I have a question, just it's an education thing. I saw lien discharge and lien filing. What are those?
So they get filed and discharged through registry of deeds, so there's a fee to pay.
If you don't pay your taxes.
Oh, it's a tax
Put a
lien?
lien, yeah, put a lien on it.
Yeah, that's your pocket of money.
Yeah.
So I am a little bit lost here. So we're all good with page one then, I guess, what
Yes.
here.
Yeah,
We're all good with page one.
page one, and right now, we're working on the lower paragraph of page one, administration. That's what we're still in, is administration.
So, and then it seems that we are all good with page two.
Yeah, nobody had any, so far, anybody else have anything on administration?
Keep going.
Okay, so,
We all, basically, we all go now with page three as well.
I just have one question. On the awards line, 9902. We spent 561 and we're still budgeting 500.
We didn't do anything extra, was that just Spirit of America award?
Just mostly Spirit of America. Yeah.
so does that line need to go to 600?
So it depends on how many are given out, right, the cost,
With
because they're individual.
So that
awards.
is, yeah, 99.
So it could be, you could increase it to 600. But that
guess the-
61, it depends, that. may
Depends on how
fluctuate.
many are submitted.
Yes, correct. How many are given out?
I mean, it's small potatoes, but I was just,
Right,
Why do we have the credit card interest line if there's no budget?
Just in case there is a cost for interest. And actually, there should be, well, no, it's probably came out after that, because you had that little tiny bit of one with a card changing between treasurers.
right. And when you pull the report, it will include that if there was ever anything showing. Does that make sense? For the time period that you're pulling? Does that
Even
make
though
sense?
there's no
No,
budget.
okay.
No.
If you used it, it would show up in the
It's-
year to date.
You'd have to
It's-
physically remove it.
it's
So it wouldn't show
you
up.
can't remove it. It's a historical line. And in 21, 22, and
Right.
23, there were charges against it.
Right, so it shows up for the time period for the report
Right.
that she pulled.
And there's gonna be a little charge for 24. I can't remember what the dollar amount is now, but it was in last warrant.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Okay, next paragraph is general government town manager. Anybody have any questions on that?
This is just a general statement on education. I just honestly don't know how many classes you can go to for some of the amounts that are throughout the budget on these education lines. Unless it's getting subsidized through MMA or something like that.
Most of our training is MMA.
Yeah.
And we're members, so we get a better rate.
Okay. Anybody else have anything on town manager paragraph? If not,
No,
next paragraph, code enforcement.
so that had a significant.
Then I take it that increase is basically hours added.
Yes, we
We're in 4
budgeted
hours.
30 hours, I believe, in 24. His average this year is 34, so we budgeted 36.
Oh, so you're going to 36.
Yeah,
Okay.
budgeted 36.
Okay, so that's. On an hours basis, that's really only 20%, but yet this is like a 37% increase.
The bottom line. That's a healthy increase.
Yeah, it is.
I see an increase in benefits.
Supplies, postage. CEO software, nothing,
Well, the
licenses.
it's all in wages. and
Yeah,
benefits.
yeah.
So the increase in wages is 37%, but the increase in benefits is 52%.
We're going to obviously go over. I don't know why there's such a large discrepancy there.
And I thought we approved software for him, no?
Uh,
We did for,
I work. But we found that it was not user friendly, the public wasn't using it, and it was basically just a storage system.
Yeah.
And not a great one, and we were paying 3,000 and something a year for it. So decided that we could do it better and save taxpayers some money, so. That's what we're doing.
so what are we doing? Just back the old way or?
No, a lot of the information Hans keeps in a spreadsheet, which links, if you click on a link in the spreadsheet, it will go to a document. We've also got the new Access, the GIS mapping, which we've uploaded documents so that they're attached to each property.
There you go, yeah.
So it's Like all of the tax
So
cards
that-
are there, nobody gets a tax card if they call or come in now.
No, we
It's-
try to direct
it's-
people
yeah,
to the
It's all through the,
GIS mapping.
online.
Uploaded documents.
Yeah.
So that's
So
worked
a
out,
lot,
yeah, so that's worked out well then.
oh my goodness, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, anybody can get that information at any time of day or night, no matter where they are.
Just as an FYI, the county has a GIS planner, so if he ever needs any help with GIS, call the county.
Okay, thank you.
So is anybody
That
else?
is very nice of the counties.
Well,
We're getting some of our money back.
You know, you knew he was gonna get picked on
well,
tonight.
if you'd like the jail, we'd be happy to give it to you.
Yeah.
And you can have the sheriff too, I'll throw him in for nothing.
Anybody else have,
Gentleman and a scholar.
anybody else have anything on CEO?
So, going back to that, the time, the amount of time increase. That is from 30 hours to 36 hours, only 20% increase. Versus the wage and benefit increase, do we have a, understanding what's going on there?
They're gonna have to look
Yeah.
into that.
Ron is gonna have to email us on that one.
So we're gonna have to look at that, at 10, 12, and then 13.
It's $18,000 increase for a 6 hour.
They're like 6 hour week, yeah, it's a big increase.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
You gave me the number.
I'll dig into it and get that to you.
Thank you.
Anything else on CEO? If not, we'll go to. You gotta
Hang
cut
on
this
just a
off?
second, yeah. Yeah, so. Yeah, I'm sorry, hang on just a second.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, I think. I'd also look at the calculation on the 30 versus the 36. Because I think, like I said earlier, it's a 20% increase in hours. Yet it's a 37% increase in wages. So I don't know if there's a correlation there or not.
Okay. Anything else on code? Okay, next thing we'll go to planning board. Anybody have any questions on that?
All decreases.
Yeah. You sure it's enough, Sarah? You're down to went from 22 to 16.
We didn't use it last year, so.
Yeah, have a big grip
So,
there.
yeah, so the advertising's at 500, but we spent 145 so far. Let's see. $106 and 21, nothing in 22, nothing in 23. And 140, I mean, I almost think that 200 would probably be plenty, because they've never come close to that. I know we're talking peanuts here, but.
You're talking
We go
education.
all
No,
that.
advertising,
Advertising,
the education line. There's a couple negatives in some of these lines, like, in 22, that a -10 in the education line. I almost think we budgeted 250 in 23, unless something's gonna change. Like if there are additional courses that they need or certifications, then you might wanna look at history and adjust accordingly.
I think a class within MMA runs what, 60?
I think it's 60 and we have 5 planning board members and 2 alternates. Do we have
And what?
2?
Sorry.
Two alternates?
Yep.
So
Yeah,
that's
right.
7,
So that's 7 times.
times 6 will be 40,
Yeah, but I
right?
mean-
Angel,
But
For
his-
one
so
class.
somebody's not going.
Right, but
Because-
we're budgeting for it
Yeah.
so that they can.
Okay, well,
I've got one this week,
Yeah.
Thursday night.
That money goes back in the general fund,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It
it goes-
does.
and we carry it.
and it's
No, we don't.
small.
Yeah,
Right, and
Yep,
keep
we
in
can
mind,
move
it's
on.
not the end of the year yet, either,
Right.
so.
This is
may not
only-
have paid for pennies costs.
however, historically, I
No,
give a
I
look, because
Yeah, cause
I think you're budgeting too much in that line, even though it's a tiny line.
I understand, there's 7 of them or whatever, and you multiply it by 60,
Yeah.
that I get, but. I think you also wanna ask yourself who's going. Because historically. They're not going. And actually, even in 22, it's a negative $10. So either you got a refund or something happened. And then year to date's 210. So not big dollars, but just sort of curious.
I think we might not have budgeted for it in that year, and if.
That's why
if
there's a
somebody
negative.
signed up to go and didn't go, you could charge $10 fee.
Oh,
for
okay.
No show.
Well, that would be an expense, okay, so I would see a 10, not a negative
Not a
10.
negative, I don't, like, that's the only thing I can think of.
Yep.
Did the CEO turn in his budget, or did you guys just do it?
We did it.
You did it based on.
Yeah, I spoke
yeah.
with Hans, yeah.
That's not a big budget.
Well,
Okay, anything else on planning board? If not, we'll go to the next paragraph, will be hearings and elections.
I spoke to Christian, he said he took some education and it was very
Oh,
helpful.
Christian Bishop, yep.
Mhm. He
That
shared-
Bay has a ton of trainings
Yeah,
available, they have a lot of online trainings as well.
but
like
there's so
a
much
little
new
library.
stuff,
I'm sorry, what was that?
new stuff that.
Oh,
people
yes.
need to know.
Yes,
So I don't see,
It's a net $50.
right, so. I don't see much there. Anybody else?
What about rentals? No rentals. Gee, budgeted 2,000 and,
So that would be if I rented one of the machines from PSNS, who is the sole distributor of the voting machines.
so
So
we aren't get to November yet.
I have tried not to do that, just because of the expense, it's very costly. The ballots are very expensive, they average about $750 for ballots. Plus the thumb drive equipment is, well, another 450, so I've been trying to manage, but I'm staying within my bottom line. I do expect another probably $5,000 after this. To be applied to that budget, so I'll still be under, but right there,
Thank you, Mary.
yes.
Anybody else have anything on elections? If not, we'll go to historian. And that's stayed the same forever.
Next.
Next,
Who is that historian?
uh,
Diane,
Diane, yeah,
Dow,
yeah, thank you.
Diane,
Dowd,
oh, Diane.
Yeah.
Okay. Next is public safety. I don't know what seat now.
oh, boy.
yes, may I speak really quickly,
Yeah,
if
you-
you don't mind, Dan? So the same thing here, benefits includes the health insurance, FICA, the new paid family leave contribution of 1%. We factored in 10% increase in health insurance. Again, we don't think it will be that high. We did separate the retirement out, the same as the other departments. We added the overtime line. There was a small increase to pump testing and hose testing. Increase to repairs on trucks and equipment purchases that they'll need to do next year. Under ambulance, we're waiting to hear more from Delta, but they may lose Fairfield and Benton.
Yeah, I was in a meeting the other day, I don't think it's gonna happen. Here, but I'm thinking about trucks.
So right now, if they lose, those towns, then the per capita rate would go up for us to 65. So the budget, this draft budget reflects worst case scenario for Delta. And that may not happen, we may be able to reduce that if we get more information, but so you'll see that it's higher because of that.
And the biggest thing with the cost. You mentioned the hose testing went up because the state requires now our forestry hose to be tested. So that was an increased cost, plus the cost went up. The vehicle maintenance keeps going on, we got a truck down in Greenwood right now for the week and another one going down in a couple weeks, so. That keeps going up.
And have you seen a huge, excuse me, increase in the hourly rate?
Not
For
that more than that's one of the trucks gonna be replacing that's down there right now, but we're still in the process, it'll be 2 years.
Hmm.
But we still gotta maintain it, and.
So what line is that on?
Well, my notes is 3504,
So under,
went from 20 to 30,
yeah, repairs, maintenance, it's on
Yeah,
page
yeah, it
2.
went up 50%.
and the gear would be the 4004, and I know you talk about training, it's a hit or miss with us too, because we got an EMT class starting in January, and we're gonna try to get it out to townspeople. And we have 3 or 4 people go to that, it's 12. We try to get grant money for it too, but if that happens, it's great, but if it doesn't,
So is there a new ambulance in here?
no,
Okay, so that went up 80%.
that's what she's talking.
That's
about.
Delta.
Oh, Delta, sorry,
Yeah, that's Delta,
sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, yeah, we're at 35 right now.
yes.
If Fairfield's to stay and not start their own transporting, which I think is a long shot, but, then we'll probably go to 45, I believe.
Will gradually keep going up.
Yeah, it's not on me, but it's still cheaper than we need 2,000 calls a year, we have 600, and then you're hiring 2 people and $400,000
And
and
another
$1
truck.
million.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
So, well, I mean, yeah, the
Crazy.
70 per capita, not fun, but it's still cheaper than starting your
So
own,
I-
at this point.
forgive my ignorance, but when you say 35 to 45, are you talking about calls or what are you
Per
talking about?
capita,
Per capita.
Per capita?
yeah,
So they're charging right now,
35 per
Five.
capita.
but I think this year was going to 45, right? And or
Okay.
70 if
Yeah.
Fairfield did,
Contract
yeah,
out.
that's proposed.
65, yeah, if they lose Fairfield.
Right, you
is
budgeted
what
for
Chris-
65 per capita,
I
that's what
mean,
you
we
budgeted.
budgeted for 65, worst case scenario,
We're paying them on a per capita basis for the town of Belgrade?
And
yeah,
all the towns.
all of
Every
that,
town
that's how they
have-
bill.
Yeah,
They used to do it for free.
Well, I would think that you look at the number of calls but I don't know, that's whatever, if that's the way they do it.
They just sent out a thing, but yeah, it's been the per capita, well, like, what? Per capita, but I think it's also based on the percentage too, they figure out the budget per town, I think. Maybe.
I think
don't
we're
know.
doing straight, I
don't
think
wanna
we're
do
doing
it
straight
that
per
way.
capita.
Yeah,
They do show us the number of calls and they can give
yeah, we
us
just got
like
an update.
time of day and day of week and all of
Yeah.
that sort of
I
thing.
think
but
they
it
did,
is per
so
capita.
far this year, we're like 280 or 300 that they've transported.
They come a lot,
Right.
so,
The only
Really?
sad thing about Delta, and it's something that Chris needs to work on, is Delta does not accept any insurance. Zippo. So
what's the alternative?
there is none.
there's
That's the
a,
problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, because all three,
Right.
all 3 trips that I did, I got all insurance.
Yeah, we got a business to get in.
Insurance
Insurance,
didn't pay for any of it?
nope. And I called Delta on it, Delta says, nope. That we don't, we do not have any insurance carriers that accept us. Gusta, same way, same way the Gusta
They
ambulance.
get paid from insurance, he doesn't get full amount back. We just
Maybe
gotta
from,
Maybe from
Medicaid.
Jared.
But yeah, so community health, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Chris told me a whole lot, there was a whole bunch of.
Yeah, cause I know they don't get reimbursed, so they don't get 100% of the
No.
value.
No,
Like if they come out here and there's say a code, they get a certain percentage of that, cause they didn't transport the patient.
right, so like community health options, that, they have 3 ambulance services in the state of Maine that they accept. Blue Cross Blue Shield have 2.
That's insurance company. I don't
Yeah,
think-
that's insurance
I don't think
companies,
that's
but-
Delta. I mean,
Well, like,
They wanna get paid, like, trust me, they won't be charging us if they got.
well, what Chris told me, how Chris explained it to me is it will cost him more money to get approval for all these insurance companies than they would get, you know, because you take like insurance company, like, say, for instance, they're $1,000 run. Insurance is gonna knock that down to $150,
Oh, it's.
and an ambulance
The
service
problem
can't
is
survive
that's
on that.
state level, they need to change the
Right.
laws, and they need to increase the fees.
Right, so just, that's something to, you know, just to let people know is. They can't get, you know, so when they see the bill, they're gonna see the bill, but they can't survive on what the insurance is paying.
What do they charge for a haul?
About $1,000.
Is that what it is?
Depends what it is,
Yeah, I say all three of mine are $1,000 a piece.
depends on the serious and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still, at
Well,
this
there's-
point, cheaper than anything we.
Oh, God, yeah.
So Delta is the only provider that we have around?
I mean, they're in mutual aid with Augusta, Waterville and all that, but nobody wants to pick any more towns up. Augusta's back, they got 4 ambulances, they're running 1,800 calls per truck. And there's just lack of paramedics, lack of people in this field.
They're struggling,
None of them get worse.
right, and
I
they're
mean,
struggling.
eventually,
with
we might have to
transfers.
bite the bullet with 600-700 calls and put an ambulance. And that's gonna cost us down $1 million.
And then ongoing costs.
So you
beyond
put
that.
2 people on
Yeah.
24/7, you're gonna be paying.
So how many calls do we have a year here? 200?
Well,
No,
total calls, fire and rescue is over 500.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm guessing.
Right now,
It's
we're,
significant.
I don't have the exact on rescue, but I did see Delta's thing, they just said we have 288 they transported. But there's a lot of more calls above that, and we sign off patients,
You're probably
they
what,
don't go,
80% or maybe a little higher, that medical versus
Yeah.
higher.
I would say, it's a
Yeah.
lot of medical.
But that's normal, that's
Yeah,
the normal trend.
I think this
I mean,
year,
we've
way
been
it's
averaging
going, I
4 or
think you're
5
gonna be
a
over
day.
600 this year.
That'd be
It's
close.
a lot.
Yeah,
We had like 4 calls Saturday. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where Delta, I mean, if Fairfield does it, great, Winslow tried it and still trying to do it, but they call Delta all the time for a paramedic innocence. And that's what my argument was at the last meeting was, these towns that are pulling out and trying to do their own thing, why are you covering them without charging them the full amount we're paying? Or if we're paying, we should be priority. If you can go for the paramedic intercept after that, great, but that was their choice, not our choice.
Now, to our credit, Chris, Executive Director for Delta, made an offer to the town of Sydney that if they had paid in full for 2024, that they would give a 5% discount back. And apparently, I don't know
Yeah.
who got wind of it, but
Oh,
somebody
it's at
brought
that
it.
meeting.
Somebody brought it up, so he realized that he had not made the same offer to all municipalities they serve, so he did send that information out and we were able to send proof that we had paid in full, so we will get a 5% discount, 4,000 and something.
But we talked about this Chris guy, he's the head of the Delta now, and
He's
he
really
just took
good.
over a few years
He's
ago,
really
he got
He-
Delta mass.
yeah, he took over a mess, is
Yeah.
an understatement.
Hopefully it gets better and it starts to level out, there'll probably always be increases, but till we can do something on our own, that's gonna be. Not much we can say.
Which line item is that in the budget?
2020, page 11, I mean
Yeah.
12. I mean 11, say that.
I totally forgot.
2020?
Yeah, 2020.
2020?
Yeah.
It says ambulance, but
Yeah.
that's Delta.
Yeah, so but this year's estimated price is $145,890.
That's worst case
Right.
scenario though.
Like you say. Fairfield's had a study done, they told them to move forward looking at it, but they still gotta big numbers go down. So I don't think.
That's population
Yeah.
times 65.
But, and so that very well could change and go lower.
Yeah.
We just,
I don't know how we can find out. To lower that and take the chance to go.
I know, I
Yeah.
don't think.
I don't think you can.
You
That-
can't.
Well, I just don't think Fairfield can start off the service by 2 ambulances within a year. And
So they don't have,
Paramedics,
they don't have,
they got a pickup truck. They're a rescue truck.
and they don't have paramedics on, they have just,
They got some in
Yeah.
class, school.
right, they just got EMTs, right?
It'd be very hard, and they gotta get it through the town gets both.
And they gotta get licensed.
That's another thing, maybe EMS might say, okay. yeah. That's an unknown, so whether we had to budget it, we could talk to Chris more, maybe he can give some more insight before
That
we
was
get to the
just the-
final
That was just
end of
the
the year.
information
Maybe when we
that
meet
he
with the select
gave
board,
me,
we'll,
yeah.
I can contact Chris and just say, hey, you see them doing it within the year, can we drop it back to the 45? Or if it goes up, we just have to have a special town meeting.
Or do we just, let me make a suggestion on that line, that. Want to correct me, maybe I'm saying this wrong. So if we keep it at that budgeted number to be safe, and if we don't use that, can we use that in 2025, what we don't use to offset 2025 line item budget?
Roll it
I
over.
think it'd have to
Yeah,
be-
roll it. I don't
Well, the only reason I'd say no is because
Don't we
ours,
have a perpetuity article that anything left over from the fire department budget
Goes into capital reserve.
into reserve?
yeah,
Right.
so we go in our capital. reserve.
Yeah.
So you could earmark what was left out of it to go to offset next year.
Yeah, I mean, the select board can take it back out of capital.
Right.
reserve.
I could write a separate warrant article.
Right, it just gets so messy
I
when you
think-
start doing that.
Let's see what
Not
happens,
very
I'll talk to Chris
transparent.
before we meet together with the select board, and then maybe we can have a,
That's just.
he
the
might say
initial
there's no chance
information.
they're gonna get it done.
Right, I hate to ask. In June, ask for more money when, you know, cause their fiscal year, of course,
That's a big increase.
yeah, their fiscal year, of course, begins July first.
That's the other.
So what you're saying is budget for the worst case scenario.
That'd be my recommendation, just, you know, so we're not asking the taxpayers for another, you know, $60,000 in June.
Yeah, I would budget for the worst case, cause I'm
Cause you
probably,
don't know.
well, you figure 65 times whatever the population is, comes out to somewhere in the area of $201,000. Which is more than you've got budgeted for here.
That 145,890 is, if you divide that by 65, that's the number they have for population.
Oh, then that's
per
less
capita.
than the actual
I think
population.
they've got 30.
That was finishing out part of the contract because. Wasn't that one of the things where their contract went part of the year?
Ends,
July.
June 30,
Yeah,
Yes,
so that's 6 months.
I do believe it was finishing.
But Dan is right, you could just go back and have another town, we call it a special
Special.
town meeting to raise that, it isn't a huge thing.
Right.
Nobody wants to do it, but it still isn't a huge thing.
Well, it's
But I
costing,
can
isn't it?
make
Right.
sure, or at least get some insight from Delta.
Chris,
Maybe even I can talk to Mania or Dr. Pay and see what he thinks, and
right,
we can have an answer and then. Budget and select board can make that decision, how they wanna.
Because it's expensive.
It's out of my hands, you know, but I can at least
It's out of all
get some
our-
insight into it,
Mhm.
and then they might wanna take that chance.
I mean, we're stuck, either way we look at it, I mean,
You're gonna pay it.
yeah, we got no choice,
You're
I
gonna
mean,
get a ride to the hospital. Unfortunately,
Mhm.
but even that, you know,
Us frequent riders,
yeah.
Bruce.
Oops.
So in that same page, then, are we done with this, the ambulance, conversation?
Yeah, I think so. Anybody else have anything on the
No.
ambulance?
So in that same page, on the purchases,
What?
oh,
No.
actually, we don't gonna get there yet. We're talking still about, police safety and fire rescue department continuous supplies. We still haven't gone to that, are we?
Yeah, we're going. I guess we'll start at the beginning, yeah, so let's start right at, page 10. We'll do public safety, emergency management, that hasn't changed over the years, that's 500, I don't see anything on that one. Then we'll start with public safety, on page 10, anybody have anything on wages down through that page?
Everything's been explained.
Okay. So we'll be on page 11. And of course, we've already discussed the ambulance. And we'll go from there. You had some questions, Sarah?
Yeah, I go all the way to purchases and 4004. We were asked last year for $16,000. We only have used about less than 5,000, and for next year, we're asking for 20.
Yeah, we wait till the end of the year just to make sure our budget, payroll and all that. But we're buying some new gear that was budgeted for last year, that was the price, and then we're also looking, there's only outfit, and they're like $2,000 a piece. And they want, we're gonna try to swap out some more this year, another 6 sets, so.
It seems cyclical. 21, you spend about $7,000, 22, 20 grand. 23, 10 grand. So I guess it depends on, because a lot of that stuff only has a shelf life of so long.
And it's gonna get, if the ocean regs go through, it's gonna.
So every
get worse.
5 years.
Hopefully that doesn't pass, and we'll be buying a new
You
truck.
saw they're trying to work on that,
Yeah,
Yeah.
right now it's 10
except
years.
the smaller towns. Yeah.
Because they will cripple town. That's why we're trying to get a little bit ahead of the curve, buy some good gear, and some of ours are outdated.
But you usually do wait until toward the end of the year.
buy-
Yeah,
And any equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like our payroll, it's always a question, we haven't used this yet, well, we don't, volunteers only get paid twice a year. We don't know how many structure fires we have a year, we don't know how many storms, those are popping up more. You can eat up some hours and time in
Absolutely.
a hurry.
And the more calls we do, the more, the hours are gonna show up with the calls.
So the big drivers here are wages and benefits and all that stuff. That's about 25 grand. And then the delta is about 65 grand. And then the only other big thing are the other 10 grand increase in repairs and maintenance for
Right.
fire trucks. Those are really the big ticket
Mhm.
items.
One of them's out of my,
what was that?
now one of them's out of my.
Oh,
I
maybe.
wish I had more control.
Most of them are on you.
That's
I
they
hope
made
it
it.
starts leveling at some point, but if towns keep pulling up,
Wouldn't expect it.
yeah. I mean, it's always gonna increase, it's just going, we started at 15, and now we're going to 65, you know?
Yeah.
Eventually, I hope it's gonna be
Level
smaller
out.
increments. Cause the rest of the towns in the area can't drop out and transport without costing their taxpayers a lot of money,
Right.
so.
So does anybody else have anything on the fire side? Okay, next thing is dispatch.
Still up there. That's what I wanted to do.
What was that?
Dispatch, you did that, right?
Oh,
That went
yeah,
down, actually.
yes.
Well,
Contacted them and, yeah, they.
One of them went down.
One of our contracts is still good. We've
Almost
got
$100.
a year or so left on it.
That became our PSAP, so that was a change. We used to pay 3 places for dispatch, now we're paying 2. Waterloo became a PSAP. So they take the 911 calls, plus they dispatch it.
That whole thing's a mess.
Mhm. And then Augusta, they wouldn't even take us, that's why they had to make Waterloo a PSAP, but we pay them for dispatching of police, sheriff and state police.
One of the towns was going to Holton.
Mhm. Oh, yeah, I think Augusta's one.
Yeah, Augusta's
I
holding.
think Augusta goes.
Yeah, Augusta is
So-
holding.
They
Capital.
do? Oh, my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah,
Yeah, we talked to Augusta before Waterville because they
That's
were taking,
not a whole-
yeah.
they didn't have the
I
people.
know, that's crazy.
Well, technology can do that to us. huh?
Yes, you are correct.
That's the problem when the state mandates something and don't fund it.
Mhm.
Okay. Nobody has anything on dispatch, we'll go, streetlights. I don't see any argument on that, it
Went
drop $600.
Why did it go down?
Changed all the lights, correct, Alana?
We
They're
used to have
also-
LEDs.
Put in LED lights,
Oh, yeah.
LEDs.
That was a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
Save,
It's just taken a while to figure out what it, looks like, it may be even be able to drop it again next year, by what we
very well, good.
spent this year.
Maybe, but we're also being told there might be more streetlights going in, so,
Well, it's have to be approved by the board, so.
you know, there's some in the green and then there's some literally street lights.
It is Bruce.
Okay,
Next to.
animal control officer. I don't see much change there.
Yeah, we could.
Um,
The health officer.
yeah, public health officer. I think that's it.
We didn't make it. We're late.
Close, we're close
Try
here.
to shoot for 7.
We gotta get the
I
schedule
said
under
if
control.
if we stay focused, we'll be about an
But
hour.
we won't have election officers tomorrow night, so that'll save us some time.
Oh, too bad, right? Less chit chat next time.
Dan,
Get
your
right
budget's
to it.
always good, and we appreciate that.
I tried.
Yeah.
Someday it's gonna
We
get
always
worse,
have
so,
good explanations on
yeah.
what's there, and I don't think it's ever gonna go down.
No, well, that's why I keep forming cycle, we have to go full time, at some point we go.
That's
More
exactly right,
full-time.
yeah.
I say, look at it, we're all getting pretty gray,
Yeah,
so.
a lot of old volunteers.
Yes, so. I have a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor, hands up.